Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet. My name is Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero. Now, we are going to be talking about people, the coupling. Is that the word?
Uncoupling.
Uncoupling.
Yes.
That is the word decoupling on the internet. What is it about? Anyway, uncoupling. When people fall in love, they hope that they're going to be in love forever. So sometimes people say BFF, friends forever, lovers forever, or just, wife and husband forever. And, sometimes in life it becomes difficult. Things change. The love dims and things get introduced into the relationship that you're saying, I don't want this anymore. And one of the things that I think my mother and my father should have divorced because it was not working for them. But my mother stayed, and I have never known why she stayed up to today. But I have feelings about why she stayed. She had nowhere to go. In Luo culture, if you're married and you've gone to live with a husband and you've gotten children with a husband, there is returning is a difficult thing. You don't return. And so, but today I see a lot of people saying, I am tired of this. I think that we are better living separately. And what I don't understand is why they make it legal. They go to the lawyer and say, I want to make it legal. So today I've got a guest, Christine Muthoni, who is a divorce lawyer. And I'm going to have a very raw conversation with her. And she has a book, Conscious Uncoupling. So, first of all, I want to welcome you to this podcast and say, how are you doing?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. I know you as Odur. How should I refer to you?
Odur is good. Odur is my witch name. You know what a witch name is?
No, tell me.
No, a witch name is, in Luo culture, you say Juok. The Juok, Nyingimar Juok. So that's your witch name. So I know in English, witch sounds weird.
Yes.
But in Luo, we actually say the witch name. The witch name is the name that separates you from any other person. It's your identifier. So in the world of the spirits, when the spirits are talking about you, when the spirits are talking about Muthoni, it's one Muthoni. It's the Christine Muthoni, the divorce lawyer, and not any other Christine. When you go to Facebook and search Christine Muthoni, you get hundreds of them. Yeah. But in the spirit world, you're only one Muthoni.
Okay, so it's a good thing. It's a good thing, all right.
So that is my name. So you've written a book that is called Conscious Uncoupling.
Yes.
And I didn't know that you're a writer until today.
Hey.
And it's beautiful because I'm also a writer. And you say something so wonderful that we enter into relationship with great love, immeasurable excitement and beautiful expectation for the future together. But sometimes the relationship just does not work out as we had initially hoped they would. More often than not, we view this as a personal failure and proceed to hold bitterness and anger. Sometimes even marinating in shame and resentment for years. We may even lash out in destructive and hurtful ways, despite the fact that we are really good people deep inside.
Yes.
And it doesn't stop there. The book goes ahead very beautifully. So this book is designed to lighten your heart and relieve you of needless suffering in this deeply traumatic process and uncoupling. Mitigate what would otherwise be a contentious, antagonistic, and mean-spirited separation and divorce. And then offer you a foothold and a guide. And then number 4, nourish and comfort you. I think that this conversation is going to lighten our viewers' hearts,
It definitely
It's going to mitigate what would otherwise be a contentious, antagonistic, and mean-spirited separation, And I think this conversation will nourish and comfort everybody that is looking at this. So as I told you before, that my mother, in Luo culture, it's difficult when you have been married. And so the name they give you is Migogo. Migogo is the one who left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a bad thing, I imagine. There's a lot of stigma.
It's not a bad thing when you're on your way going. It's a really bad thing when you're contemplating coming back.
Okay.
Because there is basically no space for you once you have left. And I feel like my mother had no space to go back to. And that is why, even though the marriage was not good. My father was a drunkard, and he was a wife batterer, and he was a captive of his own self. You know, but he looking at him, you know, for me, I've come to realize that drunkardness is a disease.
It is.
Yeah, you get addicted to it. I'm not sure about wife battering.
They go hand in hand most of the times. Some people get drunk and they become happy and mellow. Others get drunk, they become violent and abusive.
Yeah.
It's common.
So I think that is so we are talking about divorce. We know very little about it. The people that have divorced are often looked at as people that failed. I don't know. You are a divorce lawyer. Take me through what happens. You have had people knocking at your door and getting in and sitting down and saying that I have come here for help.
Yes.
What do people say when they come to you and say, I am at that point where, you know?
Actually, that story that you've given about your mother is quite common. Yeah. And by the time someone is coming to look for a divorce lawyer, they've already made up their mind because they have seen their elders in church, they've seen their parents, they've gone for therapy. Anytime you have conflict in marriage, by the time you go to the lawyer, you have seen everybody else who you can possibly see, and it hasn't worked. So they come to me and they tell me, I have this issue and I'm tired, I can't go on. But above and beyond being a divorce lawyer, I'm also a divorce coach. So I can see the human aspect behind the legal aspect. And I can see that sometimes when they come to get the legal aspect, it's a cry for help. So the first thing I ask is, are you sure? Because we've had several people come as prospective clients, but it's a non-starter. You come, you give me all your problems, I give you the course of action, you tell me I'll be back. A week later, they are back together, happily married. So I know divorce is not just about, I want to end this marriage. Sometimes it's also a cry for help. And sometimes even if it is beyond salvage, some women, especially, let me say women, men are more decisive than women when it comes to this. Women will still go back and give another chance, and another chance, mostly because of fear. Fear of what society will say, fear of what will happen to their children, fear of perhaps their lack of financial muscle. So this can go on for a while before we actually go down to filing for the divorce itself. And it's normal and it's understandable. So I try to take care of not just the legal bit, but I handle it in a wholesome manner. You look at the legal part and you look at also the human aspect of it, because even when you're done with the legal bit, the process still continues. It's not a once-off thing. It's actually a process. Some people can go through divorce for years. The legal bit is done, but you're still grieving, you're still mourning, you can't pick yourself up, you're still struggling with co-parenting if there are children involved, and that's the biggest, let's say, thorn in the flesh when it comes to divorce. Most people stay for the children. You ask, why did your mother stay? Maybe it was because of you. She wondered, if I leave, what will happen to Oduor and his siblings? Yeah.
I think so. I think she remained because of me and a host of other factors. And so what do people, when they come, what is one of the things that you have realized is the major cause of somebody wanting to bolt? You know, what is it? What is the last nail that you usually say? This is the trend that I'm seeing. What is the last nail that? So and then I'm going to ask you about the number between men and women? How many? What is the biggest number that usually come to ask for separation or divorce?
All right. There's a host of reasons, all manner of reasons, but the law has stipulated the grounds. So you can't just go to court and say we are divorcing because we are bored. I'm tired of this person, or we are incompatible. So when I establish the grounds, we are good to go. But that is like 50% of the time. The other 50, they don't have grounds really. And it all boils down to unhappiness in marriage. And nowadays, people don't think happiness in marriage is important. They say marriage is hard. So it rains everywhere. So we shall persevere. But nowadays, I have noticed women have been empowered so much to the point where they don't stay because they lack financial muscle. You can find in a homestead, a woman is the one who is the breadwinner, and the man is quite comfortable. Nowadays, that's very common. Women will come and tell me, I'm tired of taking care of this man. I can do better.
It's interesting that women have got this say of, I am tired of taking care of this man.
Yes.
Men don't say that much.
No.
Do they?
They don't. Men, in fact, they don't complain about taking care of their wives. You can find a man with a housewife, stay-at-home mom, and he's quite okay. In fact, I feel like it gives them pride, that you're able to take care of your wife and your children, and you're okay. You're not telling her, okay, let's go 50-50. You're fine. But for women, there's something that we are not built that way. We are not built that way. We are not built to take care of men.
Yeah.
A long time ago, our mothers could take care of all of us, including our fathers, and you will never know.
Yeah.
Because they would keep it on the down low. They would pass money under the table. No, cover him. Nobody would know she's the breadwinner. But nowadays, women are more vocal. I don't know if it's because of social media. We are so exposed.
Social media exposing a lot of things.
We are very exposed, and so you realize they want out of marriages because they're carrying a very big burden. They feel like it's a burden to them. Well, of course, there are the other grounds that are provided for by the law, like mostly adultery, and on the side of the man. I'm not saying that women are always faithful, but mostly it's the men. So that's a very common one as well. So if a man is being unfaithful to you and at the same time not providing for you, your tolerance levels are so low and you want out. So now they come to see Christine and they will tell me about the bigger burden, and then we'll now talk about the infidelity and maybe the cruelty and whatever other ground that they have, and we see how to help them.
Is that a ground as per the Kenyan government? Is that a ground that I am the one doing all in this
No,
marriage?
it's not a ground. It's not a ground. But now we are looking at it socially. That is the reason most women nowadays are leaving their marriages.
I want to ask you this question, but it's not just to understand, because this is a conversation.
Yeah.
So and because you understand this deeper than I do, I want to ask you that question based on that reason, that they are leaving because they are tired of taking care of they are the ones who is the bread and butter.
Yeah.
What is when they leave? How does this change?
Well, they feel like they can meet a better man. So I don't have this burden.
Okay.
Well, let's say money.
It's not bolting to go and start your own life by yourself, because that is going to be more than what you left.
Yeah, because now there's no one else to help you with.
Yeah,
the children
even if they were giving 1,000, you're no longer having that 1,000.
That 1,000 is gone. But you see, money is such a huge problem in marriage. It's one of the major issues, and it can spark so many other things because, like, for example, I hear people say when the woman is the one who's earning more, she's disrespectful to her husband. This disrespect comes with other things. These other things may or may not lead to cheating. And then now there we have a ground. Yeah. But before we got there were so many other irreconcilable differences that make the marriage break down until it cannot be retrieved. That's also a ground as well. But that issue of money is a very big one. Money and infidelity, those two. They are very common nowadays.
Between a man and a woman, who is likely to come to you because of infidelity?
Well, women mostly. Yeah, women. But I also feel like women forgive a lot of infidelity. But a man, when he finds that the woman is unfaithful, forgiveness is out of the question. Hardly does a man forgive a woman, his wife, for being unfaithful. So when he discovers there's infidelity, he will come to me and he will even pay on that day. Let's do it. A woman will come and tell me my husband is unfaithful, but I'm afraid of my children, what will happen, or if I leave, I won't have enough resources to take care of myself and the children. Let me think about it, then I come. And if you do a follow-up, they forgive. They're happily married. 2 years later, she'll come back again with the same story. Now it has happened with another different woman. I'm sure now I want to divorce. Okay. A week later, I'm still thinking, I have forgiven. We are okay. So that's the trend with women. They forgive infidelity, but it's more common with men. Men find out once, that's it.
That's it. I can understand them.
Yeah.
So the how about women coming for because they are tired of taking care of the man?
That usually comes out as an underlying issue. They don't come and tell me that directly because I think there's some shame about it. It looks like they're giving up on their marriage too fast. So they'll come up with other things that look more serious. But then if you talk, you realize that is the main issue. That is actually the main issue. They have been forgiving infidelity and everything else, but they don't see why should I be cheated on and also be the provider. So, but when it comes to now drafting our documents, I usually prefer to just use something that is not too explicit because sometimes it can get explicit.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is he did 1, 2, 3 things and now you're unhappy. Because you're unhappy, you don't want to be in this marriage anymore. You have tried to reconcile your differences. It hasn't worked. So you're petitioning for divorce on the grounds of irreconcilable differences. That goes hand in hand with my conscious uncoupling. Because if you make it very acrimonious, then you won't be able to come back, sit down and talk about the children, talk about co-parenting, talk about division of the property or anything else. Because then people become, hyper-threatened. If you're hyper-threatened, anything that your soon-to-be ex does feels like an attack to you. And you will not want to sit down and discuss anything. And so the divorce becomes so antagonistic, so acrimonious. People become petty. You know the way you'd break up with your teenage girlfriend? You would cry for days, burn things that she left at your house. They become like that because it's a primal instinct. You feel threatened. The next thing you want to do is automatically protect yourself. It's a subconscious thing. And so you put your guard up and you fight. And these fights can be brutal, drag each other through the mud. And our law doesn't make it any easier because divorce here is fault-based. Yeah. So
what does fault-based mean?
That means that, like what I had said earlier, you cannot just say we are incompatible, dissolve this marriage, Your Honor. No. You have to go through the grounds that are provided by the law, think about all the mistakes this man has been doing. So now you're not seeing anything positive about this man or this woman. You're looking for their faults. And not just looking for their faults, you're looking for their faults and supporting it with evidence. Yeah? So the evidence sometimes is photographic, sometimes it's documentary. We see videos, and the court is going to watch these videos.
That have been scrapped from WhatsApp.
Some of them, they hack phones, but that is illegal. Don't try to hack a phone. But some of them are captured from CCTVs everywhere. Nowadays, we have cameras in places you would not expect, and they capture things that should be private. And if you're going to court and your ground is infidelity, it's quite difficult to prove that because suspicions of infidelity and actual infidelity, 2 different things. So if you have the evidence of infidelity, do you think it's something you would want to watch in front of the public?
No.
No.
Even you, as the person fronting the divorce case, would be very hesitant to reveal it.
Yes.
Because you don't know where it's going to end up. Because sometimes you have got a child who is even 18 years old, and they're going to show up in court to support their mother or to support their father.
Like, these are permanent records. You can find these things on Kenya Law Report and wherever. But even if they're there and they're initialized and whatnot, but if you want to find out information, you will find out. So even this child, even if the child is still a minor, they'll grow up one day. They'll want answers. What happened to my family? They can get the information online. Yeah. Sometimes even when you're going through these divorces, it's a very emotional process. So emotional that people forget decorum, respect, logic, all that goes out the window. You see someone has taken their phone, they've gone live on Facebook, and they're sharing all manner of things. These things can go viral, and it's a permanent record. So I like it when couples or an individual comes to me while they're still contemplating, before things have gone out of hand, so that now I can guide you, step by step. It doesn't matter what this person has done. It doesn't matter what this person has not done. Bottom line is you're unhappy. That's reason enough, socially. And then when it comes to legally, we will frame it how it needs to be framed so that you can.
Yeah. So we are going to get into the first contact. A man or a woman shows up in your office or gives you a call that I want to do this. How do you start the process?
All right. The first thing is to actually have, it's more of a client discovery meeting. Some people call it a consultation.
A client discovery meeting. I like that one.
Yeah, you want to see
you're knowing this person.
Yeah, we need to connect and see whether you even have a case in the first place. It's for me to gauge whether I want to take this case, because I don't take all cases. I choose. And for you also to see whether you want me as your lawyer, because choosing a lawyer is not just about, okay, I can afford this lawyer or I can't afford this lawyer. This one is a shark. Oh, by the way, I'm not a shark.
What is a shark in law?
Shark lawyer are those ones who go for the jugular. I'm coming to kill you. I'm coming to teach you a lesson. It's not even about dissolving the marriage. It's about being used by your client to punish their ex. So in this case, they'll make sure they take all the property. They'll make sure they take your children. Even if it's a man, he wants physical custody. He knows very well he can't take care of these children by himself, but he's just doing it to teach her a lesson.
So this means that he has the money.
He has the money, the influence, the power, everything. And perhaps
I'm going to leave you in a bad state.
Exactly. Perhaps even it's him who's petitioning. So he feels wronged. He's hurt. He's in pain. He's coming to Christine, first contact. This woman did this. At that time, this is not my wife. She becomes this woman. This woman did this and this and that. And she thinks she can play with me. I want you to do this and this. The moment I discover that you want to use me as a weapon, I know we are not a good match, because I'm all for peaceful and amicable and coupling, which means irrespective of what happened, it happened already. You don't have to keep rehashing it. You don't have to fight. You don't have to drag each other through the mud. There's already enough stigma surrounding divorce. Why make it worse? Because there are no winners in divorce. There are no winners. Both of you will be hurting. Even if you wanted out, you're the petitioner, you wanted out of that marriage, I can guarantee you at some point it will sink in and you will grieve. And grieving is different for different people. Some start with anger. Others just go straight to depression. Others denial, you keep coming back to the man. You leave, you keep coming back, It's a whole process. So this client discovery session for me is to identify whether, number one, you have grounds. Number two, I am what you need. If you need just to dissolve the marriage in a peaceful way, I will help you do that. If you want to fight, no. Also, the client gets to sort of an interview for me. They're interviewing me. They're hiring me for this work. Are we compatible? Yes, we go ahead. So that's the first meeting. And then when we establish everything is in order, of course, We sign an agreement because I like having an agreement with my client. I call it a letter of engagement. It will show you the scope of the work I'm doing for you, because there's a misconception currently, okay, not currently, it has always been there, in Kenya, whereby we file for divorce and you think it involves adjudication over the matrimonial property and child support and custody. It doesn't. In Kenya,
I thought so too.
It doesn't.
No?
That happens like in America, where when you have a divorce order, it caters for everything, including shared debts. But in Kenya, if it's divorce, it's in one court, the lower court. That one will just deal with dissolving the marriage only.
Really?
Yes. If you have children, you go to the children's court.
Wow.
That one will take care of the custody, legal and physical, and child support if it is required. And if you have matrimonial property, you file that one in the High Court. So you see, if you come to me and you have this idea that I'll handle all this, it will cause a lot of confusion.
You cannot go to all the courts?
I can. But now in my letter of engagement, I will tell you, you want to dissolve your marriage? Okay, we have that agreement. You want us to go to the children's court and do this? We have this. You want us to talk about the property as well? We have this. We sign a letter of engagement that involves everything. Legal fee for everything is separate.
Okay.
Sometimes I can pick one. I can help you with this one. This other one, I don't think I can.
Why? Why are you saying? Why are you saying these? I'm not sure. It's complicated. What makes you try to say this one is a lot to chew?
Well, men especially, when they come and tell me they want physical custody of a child who is 6 months old, really, I just know that one is personal. This
vendetta. This is vendetta. This is punishment.
How will you, as a man, take care of a 6-month-old child? You want me to go to the children's court, get you physical custody?
Are you even able to win this case?
You can't. You can win it, but I don't think that's something I want to take care of, because I can see you're not looking out for the best interest of the child.
Yeah.
You're looking out for muscle. I want to show this woman. I want her to suffer. I know when I take away this child, I'll have won this battle. But you're forgetting it's not about you. It's not about her. It's about the child. Yeah. So I can tell you, okay, fine. I'll give you my advice as a lawyer. I'll tell you, yes, we can apply for this and this and this. Chances of our prayers being granted are this %, but I would not recommend, because I'm a mother as well. How do you take care of a 6-month-old child who's probably being weaned right now? Or sometimes you can see they're saying things like, we have these properties here and there, and I want to make sure she comes out with 0. Yet, she's the one who's been left with the physical custody of all the children. And I ask questions like, don't you think your children will suffer if you disenfranchise the mother? At the same time, you're saying you're not providing child support. And they're like, I really don't care. She was unfaithful. Let her suffer. Let her, It's quite inhuman, I know.
Yeah, what I'm getting from you since we started talking is that this is, I think this is the subtle advice that you're giving to people that are considering divorce. Is that are you guys saying that divorce is about you guys going your separate ways? It should not be like we are in another war. We are not opening another battlefront.
Yeah.
We are simply saying that you and me, it's over. It's not, we can't be sleeping in the same bed. We don't want to share a house. So the idea is, if you want this, you're suggesting that go your separate ways.
Exactly. You've got it very well, because by the time you're divorcing, you're already having conflict in the marriage. Why should you have conflict in the marriage? Conflict while you're divorcing, and conflict even after the divorce. Spare yourself some pain. You have suffered this long in the marriage. Just acknowledge that it's not working. If possible, have that conversation and call it quits peacefully and amicably. And then, to prevent yourself from suffering unnecessarily even after the divorce, come up with an agreement how you're going to co-parent. Yeah, you don't even need to continue communicating directly if it is so of course it's difficult at the beginning, but if you have this parental responsibility agreement, it outlines everything that needs to be done for the well-being of the children, and you have signed it, and you've gone to the children's court, and it has been adopted as a court order. So if you don't comply, then you're in contempt. You can be cited, and there are consequences. But if you comply, everything runs so smoothly. You as the father know you have access. Come pick your child on this day at this time. Go spend time. Give the child fatherly love, care, advice, all that. When it's time to bring the child, you don't need to, keep calling your ex-wife or anything. You know where you have agreed. It's in the PRA. Go and take the child there. There'll be somebody waiting as per your agreements. Schools are opening on this day. You have these responsibilities which you have agreed to, or you have been compelled by court. Do them. Pay school fees. Do the shopping. Yeah? That way, everything is running swiftly. The two of you don't have to interact unnecessarily. And the children have access to both parents. And according to the parents, you're separated, yes, but you're showing a united front. So the children also don't feel like, they're losing. It's a traumatic experience for everybody, including the children. We imagine the children don't feel anything, but they do. When a couple divorces, the trauma they go through, the children also go through it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the children are so young they can't even express it, but they are going through it. So try give them a soft landing.
Yeah.
By minimizing the conflict between the two of you, and at least take the first step toward healing. Yeah, you can't heal if you keep fighting your ex all the time.
Yeah, so you have, this person has come to you and has told you, you've familiarized yourself with the case. The other party is not in the picture yet. How does the other party get drawn into the picture?
All right, 2 instances. The first one, it depends. Okay, first of all, divorcing a narcissist and an abuser is completely different from the other ordinary divorces because we're incompatible or I'm tired and all that. A narcissist and an abuser, you can't sit down and talk to them about anything. These are the ones who go out looking for sharks in case they are the petitioners in the divorce. Those ones you cannot discuss anything. So I just welcome my client, I'll listen to their case, draft our documents, and then we serve them. Nowadays, we are allowed to serve virtually through email, through WhatsApp. But for just good measure, I prefer to serve physically. So you use a process server for this. The moment they are served the documents, now they are in the picture. Now they know they are being divorced. But to speak the truth, most of them have already seen the signs. Because by the time you're coming to a lawyer, you've already separated. But you had some hope, maybe, my wife is coming back. But when she brings when you're served, now you know, okay, it's real.
Who is serving?
The process server.
The process server?
Yes.
What is a process server?
It's somebody who is it hired or employed?
By your firm?
Yes, by our firm and some by the court to serve these documents to the other party. They have enough experience in that because sometimes it's difficult to serve some people. It's even a risky venture. You can imagine I'm coming to serve a very powerful man and I have to introduce myself and say who I am and what is it I'm bringing. He can even remove a gun, and threaten me and throw the documents back at me. So you need to use somebody who is, who knows that work. Sometimes they can accept service through email. It's okay either way. And that is now for the one who you cannot approach, talking.
I imagine that at this point, these people are not living together.
They are not. If it's an abuser and a narcissistic person, you've fled for your life already. Yeah? They are coming to me on grounds of cruelty. They even have records of, they have P3s, OBs, medical reports. They have been abused. And abuse is not just physical. It's also emotional, mental. Any other abuse that is not physical. Yeah, you can go see a therapist. You're going through depression. Well, it may be hard to point the reason why you're depressed and say it is because of him, but there are other things. You don't file on one ground. There are many grounds. Most of the time we file with many grounds, and then we just summarize. Now our differences are irreconcilable, and the marriage has broken down irretrievably. Yeah? But if it is somebody who is approachable, I actually reach out to them myself.
You call them?
Yes, I call them. And I introduce
Have you
myself.
called?
Yes, I have.
Can you tell me one of your most interesting calls? I don't know how I would do that. I mean, how would you do that? You say, okay, hey, my name is Christine Muthoni. I'm a divorce lawyer.
Yes.
You can't even say you're a divorce lawyer, can you?
I do. I just tell them. Because I am. I'm not hiding anything. And I've been instructed by your wife. Or by your husband. So one interesting one was when I called a husband. The wife had come to me. No, let me not tell you that one. Let me tell you about
another interesting one.
Yeah, a different one. A man came to me. He wanted to divorce his wife, but they had already separated, and she was staying with the children. And he hadn't seen his children in a long time. She had been denying him access and everything. So he wanted not just the divorce, but also to file a children's case, at least to have access to his children. And I asked him whether he has tried, And he told me, yeah, he has tried, but she does not pick my calls and everything. But I would like us to talk. Divorce, let it be a last resort. We have tried church and everything. So I called the lady and I introduce myself. And I tell her that I'm instructed by so-and-so. Do you know him? Yes, that's my husband. And the moment she puts the full stop on that's my husband, insults start. Oh, you're the one who is breaking my marriage. What are you doing with my husband? And I have to, bring her down. I'm a lawyer. I'm instructed. This is what I've been instructed for. She will not let me talk and accuse me of stealing her husband. And that went on for a few seconds. And I just had to tell her, you know what? Let's find another way of communicating. And I ended the conversation. That was one incident. Most of the times, people are very civil. They don't go off like that. The moment I introduce myself and I tell them what I'm calling them for and who has instructed me, it's like they saw it coming and they tell me it's okay. So what do I need to do? And I advise them. There are several issues on the table. There's the divorce, there's the children, and there's this. May I invite you for a meeting? We can have a round table meeting. Sit down. You can instruct your own lawyer. Come with your lawyer, and we discuss about the children.
Do I need to have my lawyer, or are you enough?
I prefer they have their own lawyer because some of these discussions don't work out. They don't yield fruit. And they will still go and get their own lawyer, and then the tables will turn and say, in fact, they tried to get me to collude, and you're not supposed to collude in Kenya, Or in fact, they called me and they were just trying to get information from me. I don't like that. I prefer you come with your lawyer. Even if you've not instructed the lawyer for the whole brief, instruct that lawyer for that particular meeting, so that you can have your own objective advice. Because I'm instructed by your soon-to-be ex. I know I don't really expect you to trust me 100%. I'm looking out for my clients, yeah? But when they come with their lawyer, it's better. Because that way, they have someone who can tell them, this is in your interest, this is not. And I can tell my client, and then we can meet in the middle. Yes.
Okay. I have a feeling that sometimes the people that come to you, and now you are calling the husband or the wife, that I have been instructed to this. Do you get a situation whereby the other person, the person you reach out to is like, I think the lady that is calling me can be able to help us solve this thing. Do you get that a lot?
Yes, I do. Nowadays, people are realizing that divorce is not the end of life. And they're just persevering a marriage because they don't want to be the one to pull the plug. They don't want to be the one to carry that burden of, I'm the one who left. So the minute they hear, oh, my spouse has already seen a lawyer, oh, good. So I don't have to be the one to pull the plug. And they cooperate. And they actually tell me, in fact, I don't even want to contest because there are some divorces that are contested and others are not contested. If it is not contested, it goes by very swiftly. If it is contested now, we have warring parties here and it can go on for long.
Contesting means that this person is holding on to onto the spouse.
Yes.
I don't want you to leave me.
Yes, either holding on to the spouse or just making the process difficult intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if they're contesting, then it becomes more a lengthier process than it would have been. But the end result is, if you both want out, the court will not force you to stay in a
According
marriage.
to the law, the reason here can be very flimsy. You know?
Yes.
But then the other person probably might get to know about the law. And they know that what my spouse has presented to the lawyer is very flimsy. According to you, you have to make this watertight. If the party has decided that I've decided this, I am going on with it, it is flimsy. The other person also knows that it's very flimsy. How do you deal with this kind of thing?
It's not a problem at all. Actually, maybe I should now replace the word contest with defend. Because my client can come to me and give me her side of the story. Let me use her. She gives me her side of the story, but it's said that there are 3 sides of a story. So whatever she tells me, her husband also has a different version, and maybe there is another version that is the truth. I actually think there are infinite versions. Because what I'm telling you today...
They can even change it.
Yeah, because what I'm telling you today, the reason why I'm divorcing, 10 years down the line might be so petty and I won't even remember. Then I'll give you a different version.
You mean divorces can go for 10 years?
Okay, no, I haven't seen one that's gone for 10 years. Division of property does.
For 10 years? It's still divorce.
People will fight over
it's
the
still
property.
Divorce.
Yeah, you're divorced, but you're still going on with the property.
Yeah, so
suit,
I think
yeah?
it's just still
part of the process.
Yeah.
So she can come and tell me what she's telling me, and we can draft our pleadings. But when the man sees them, he says, this is flimsy, this is not true. And they feel the need to set the record straight, which is okay. You know, it helps with closure or with any other suit that may be filed in future, you know. For instance, it's rare that physical custody is taken away from the mother and given to the father if the child is a minor, especially of tender years. But let's say
is 10 below?
Yeah, let's say like that one I was telling you, for a 6 months old, you know, that small child who really needs the love and care of the mother. It's very hard for physical custody to be given to the father. But if the father can show and prove that this woman is mentally unstable, then that could be a ground, because it's not in the best interest.
How do they show this? Do they force the lady to go for a mental check?
No, some have already been going, and some it's in the open. It's not a secret. Yeah, some have been in rehab. They're addicts of whatever. They have been in rehab. You have the records. Yeah, they have been seeing psychiatrists. You have the records. So if something was said in the divorce, and you know it will affect you getting custody of the children, and you keep quiet and you don't say anything about it, it will affect the case for the children.
They will ask, but this was raised and you never said anything.
Anything can happen. So it's better they come and defend themselves. Now this becomes a defended suit. Defending yourself is not saying I don't want a divorce. It's saying, yes, I want it, but not for the reasons that have been stated there, but for these other reasons.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Because unaona mbele.
Unaona mbele. Unaona mbele kabisa.
Because you know, when we come to who takes care of the child, what was discussed the other side is applicable this side.
Exactly. Or even when it comes to property issues, you know, your wife has been a stay-at-home mom or a housewife the entire period of your marriage. And you can foresee a matrimonial property suit coming in the future. So you'll want to defend yourself so that you can set the record straight. My wife has been a stay-at-home mom. I have been working all this time. I have acquired all this property. Because nowadays, property is divided according to contribution, yeah? So we
are surely going to talk about it. I'm wondering how this works out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So now she's accusing you of infidelity and she wants a divorce. And of course, you can see if this divorce is granted because of your fault, which she has already established with all those videos that she has gotten from wherever, and you just keep quiet when it comes to the other case, it might affect you. So defend yourself and say, this is my side of the story. Let the court hear you. Yeah, they'll adopt your pleadings as they are, or you'll give oral testimony in court during the hearing, but let it be on record.
So what is the record here? We are here to discuss that this marriage is not working and we are looking for a divorce, and each and every person is going their separate way. Okay, that is fine, but we are also looking at setting the records. So you just tell the lawyer or the judge that even though we are going on with the divorce, these records I want to be set straight, so that officially when the divorce is done, these are the official reasons.
Yes.
If there is something that you don't like, they are kicked out.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, when the judgment is given, the reasons why the divorce has been given will also be stipulated. Yeah? And the fault will fall on one or both or whatever, but it will be there, and it's going to be a permanent record. If you want to rely on it in future for something else, you have the liberty. It's always good to set the record straight.
And you're given this file.
Yes. Anything we file, we have to serve the other side.
Oh, okay.
So they have their file. I have my file. The court has its file. Everybody has access to this. Eventually, it will be uploaded online as well.
So the service has been done. One person is saying, "I'm not going on with the divorce. This is my wife, and it shall stay so."
All right, there's another misconception where people think there's something you sign to agree to be divorced. No, there is no. Here, if I want out and you don't want me to leave you, I don't need your permission. I don't need your consent. I can still go ahead and divorce you. So we have served the other party. They have gone through all the allegations, accusations, and everything, and they don't want to be left. They don't want to go through divorce. Now you can come and contest it. We have freedom of association, which goes hand in hand with freedom not to associate with somebody. So there's no court that will force you to stay in a marriage that you don't want to stay in. You can come and tell the court, I'm remorseful. I agree I did ABCD, and I'm asking to be given another chance. What I have seen from past experience is if the court sees that there is hope, that this marriage can be revived, they will give you that opportunity. They will give you the opportunity to go and try and reconcile your differences, of course with leave to appeal to now the High Court in case it doesn't work. So we start with the lower court. If the court is very understanding and lenient, your petition will be dismissed. You'll be told, go and see a therapist, a counselor, or whoever. If that doesn't work, you can appeal. But at the end of the day, if one party is adamant, they want to leave, they will leave. You'll go to the High Court. You'll appeal. You'll still get your divorce. Yeah. But the process itself, between the time when I reach out to the other party or from the time when we file and they are served, they have a period of 15 days to respond. They can think whether they want to respond or not. If they don't want to respond, meaning they don't want to defend the suit, just sit back. I will proceed with my client.
How long?
Sorry?
For how long will this go before you've refused to
15 days. We give them 15 days. That is a statutory period. We can give them longer. So after the 15 days, within the 15 days, I'm expecting to hear from the other side or from their lawyer. So when you're served those documents, first thing you do, look for a lawyer and get advice, get counsel. If you wish to defend, they will draft for you a response to what we have filed. And they'll also attach their own evidence if there is some other ground that you want to raise, or if you're just setting the record straight, but you still want the divorce. And then I will be served on behalf of my client. So service comes through my office, no longer to my client. And if I need now to serve the other side, I serve through their lawyer. So I also go through what we have been served, and I share it with my client. And as I mentioned, this process is quite emotional. And so my client will most likely want, again, to come back and set the record straight. They will say, here, this paragraph is a lie. In fact, what actually happened is this. So we have a chance now, again, to respond to them. Yeah? So we sit down again, draft our response, serve the other side. And this can go on for as long as you want, until both parties are satisfied that everything they want the court to hear has been put on record. And then if counsel for the other side is cooperative, they will communicate directly and they'll tell me, I think we are done. We can close pleadings now. So now we make an application in court, and that application will be heard by the lawyers. We will say we have done what is required and we have finished. We want to close pleadings, meaning nobody else now can come and add, I want to respond. In fact, there's a paragraph I forgot to respond. Let me go back and respond. Once it's closed, now we get a hearing date. And so if you have witnesses, you prepare them. Most of the time...
It's just like any other court case.
Yes, it is.
People stand on the dock and give...
Yeah, they do. Actually, there have been some improvements of late, whereby, like now in Milimani, we have a family division. So we don't mix, all other civil matters with the family divorces and what have you. So at least there is some privacy. But prior to that, you would just stand there and talk in front of everybody. However, we as lawyers had the liberty to ask to be heard in camera if some things are so sensitive, which they are most of the times in divorce. And so we can be given that audience to be heard in the chambers, in private. And that was good. That was okay, because sometimes it's also intimidating to stand in front of strangers and start talking about some very personal things.
Who are these strangers, though?
Court is open. Court is open. You can walk into court right now and just sit there and listen.
To anything?
Yeah. Yeah. So...
Imagine for divorce, that should not be the case.
Yeah, it has been the case. And then after COVID, we went digital, and now we have the online and virtual courts. So I noticed that most courts will not tell people log out, I want to hear this, unless it was specifically asked by the lawyer when they were closing pleadings or before you got the time allocation in the morning. Yeah, you can actually ask, I want us to be heard alone. So the court will say, anybody else who's not related to this matter, log out, because now it's virtual.
But the link is public.
It's public, yes. But the court can see who is online at that time and will call you out. Odur, are you a party to this case? What are you doing? Kindly log out. Then the court
I'm thinking that the best way to do it is for everybody to submit their emails. And then that is what they vet. And then once the only people with the emails can get into that hearing.
Some courts do that. Like, I think Rero does that. Rero is so efficient. They actually email you with a time allocation and tell you, come at this time. So when you come at that time, it's your session. But not all courts do that. Some courts are just so busy, they don't have time for that. You come, all of you. If you don't ask for any special treatment, you'll just be treated like anybody else there. Yeah? So these people are talking about a road accident that happened, where, and you're talking about how you found some funny messages in your spouse's phone, and everybody's just listening. So some cases have a lot of witnesses. They will all be heard. Some only have the petitioner and the respondent as the witnesses. They will be heard. Sometimes you can be heard in one day and you finish. Sometimes it's part heard because it's a lengthy process. Every day, I think there could be, it's not only one hearing per day. A court has got many hearings per day. So
divorce hearings.
Yes, divorce and others. Yeah. So for now, Milimani, okay, if it's divorce, it's divorce. So it's limited. The time is limited. And I'm noticing a trend whereby courts are not listening to the nitty-gritty details of who did what and who didn't do what. They're adopting the pleadings as they are. So this part where you're filing, serving, getting a response, again, it's quite important because you might not get heard, but the court will rely on what you have filed, the documents. Yeah.
And this document, both parties shall have agreed that this is the final
Yes.
document that we are filing.
Yes, when we are going to close pleadings.
But then
we
when
agree
the
there.
when the other one is not talking, is not he's not party to this, he doesn't want anything to do with this, he just what now do you file then?
Yeah, now in that case, my client has come to me, we have filed, we have served. They are not interested in taking part in the proceedings. 15 days are over. Now I go to court, file an application to say I want a registrar certificate, and that means we are being given the go-ahead to proceed as an undefended cause. Undefended means should he decide to come and defend himself between that day and the hearing day, he can't. It's going to be a difficult thing to do. So we close pleadings and I will proceed with my client. So there will only be one side to be heard. It's just me and my client there. And my client now, introduces herself to court and goes ahead and gives a summary and adopts the pleadings as they are. Or if the court that day has patience, can listen to her whole story. Some courts are quite homely. They will actually ask you questions like, are you sure? Can I give you another chance? Do you want to go and try ABCD? What's going to happen to the children? And these questions, of course, I've already asked them, but at this point, it's so real. Yeah, so your client realizes this is it. If I say I want to go through with it, this is it. And they can be given a chance to go. Let's take another date. Go think about it. Go try.
Yeah. In America, I've read that the man pays for the divorce. Whoever has money, I'm not sure. How does it happen in Kenya? Who pays for the divorce?
In Kenya, there are no costs for divorce, as in it means everybody take care of your own expenses.
So if I come to you to get a divorce, I'll pay for it.
Yes. And if your spouse goes and gets his lawyer, he'll also pay his own lawyer.
But if I have decided, okay, mimi sina shida, let's just go and get over with.
You just sit back. Don't do anything. Just sit back. Let the one who has filed proceed with the process. They'll pay their lawyer. Yeah. Yes.
But do you know why in the United States they ask other people to pay for the lawyer of the other person?
Our laws are different. They're different. So that is allowed there. It is not allowed here. Yeah.
So I cannot, so the person who goes to the lawyer pays.
You pay your lawyer because you're instructing me. I'm giving you a service. Yeah.
But then,
so you'll also pay court fees and everything.
But we have an estate together. And I am tired of this marriage. The money must only come from the estate to pay for you. What do I do?
We go into details. What is this estate? Is it a house? How will your matrimonial house pay for the process?
No, for example, let's make it easier for you. We are co-owning a business. The only place I can get money to pay for my lawyer to leave you is through the business that we co-own. The money has to be drawn from the business that we co-own. How does that work?
All right, again, we go into the details because businesses are also different, yeah? Assuming it's a limited liability company that you co-own with your husband, and you're both, let's say, directors and shareholders, that is a legal entity on its own, yeah? It is not matrimonial property. It is not part of your estate as a married couple. So unless you're getting a salary from that company, you cannot come and say, oh, this company is going to pay for this process because it's part of our estate. It's not even let's not even call it an estate because we are going to mix things up. It is matrimonial property. It is not. Yeah? If you're getting a salary, take your pay slip, pay your lawyer. The property that you own together will be divided according to contribution. And that's a whole different suit in the High Court. So now if you're coming to me and I'm also handling your matrimonial property, division of your matrimonial property, I will now sit down with you. We go through everything you own as far as what you know. Because I've seen couples hide property from each other. And your husband may actually own more than you know he does. So you tell me what you know, what you both own. And by the way, I think I should define what matrimonial property is. Because some people come into marriage when they have a whole they are wealthy already. And that is not matrimonial property. So don't look for a person who's wealthy and think, okay, now we will divide that. No. When you come into marriage, you're starting on a clean slate. What you owned before the marriage is not matrimonial property. That is yours. You will live with it unless, let's say, for example, it was land. Unless you owned a piece of land when you are getting married and then your spouse developed it. So now the developments on that piece of land will be matrimonial property. But the land itself is not. So when you get into marriage, it's good for you to, socially it's good for you and your husband to be on the same page, your husband or your wife. Be on the same page and do these developments together, invest together, etc. That is in the ideal situation. But sometimes things don't work out like that. You can do all those investments together, but then the marriage doesn't work out. And it cannot be salvaged. And now you have to go to court and prove, I came with this, I developed this, we bought this together, here's my contribution. How do you prove that? It gets difficult. It gets difficult because we don't keep receipts for some of these things, We can't track back 10 years.
So it will depend on the heart of the other person.
That's why I usually try to mediate first.
Yeah.
But if this other person is not willing to give you anything, then you have to prove. I have had people come to my office with someone to carry carton boxes because they've kept records of everything from the day they met. Yeah, that first date we went, here is my receipt, I paid the bill. And I tell them this is not necessary, but it's a good.
Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. I think we are coming to the tail end of this conversation. When people talk about lawyers, they usually look lawyer and money, sharks. Yeah? I am this person who is just living in this city I can't even make ends meet. And here I am in a very difficult position in a marriage that I think is going to kill me if I don't get out. And then I have to go and show up at an Upper Hill office and try to pay a lawyer. And some people think this and think about this in their bed and they say, this is not working. I mean, is it how I know, charges are relative, and we are not going to get to a situation whereby we agree that this should be. What is the difference between a divorce lawyer and the other lawyers? Are they just lawyers at the end of the day?
We are all lawyers. As long as you have your practicing certificate, or rather you're admitted to the bar, you're an advocate, you can be able to represent anybody.
But then the question I'm asking basically is very specific. Are people likely to afford divorce?
People are affording divorce. I mean, you're doing a wedding for millions.
Oh, wait. No.
So you can spend so much to get into a marriage.
We know how weddings come to be. We know that if this gentleman here wants to he will WhatsApp me. He will invite me into a WhatsApp group to kuna budget hapa ya 700K. You don't form up a WhatsApp group
for divorce. True. I haven't seen one for divorce. Mchango ya divorce. I haven't seen. But I think it's important to know what you're looking for in a lawyer. Any lawyer can represent you in your divorce. But if you want to get the best, okay, let me not say there are good lawyers and bad lawyers, but you know what you're looking for.
Yes.
You want one who specializes in family law for various reasons. Like for number one, she has experience. Number two, she has rapport with the judicial officers. Number three, she has studied each court and knows this court is likely to give this. So let's frame our documents this way. This court does not like you turning up looking like this, so I'll tell my client, come looking like this. Even I myself will come looking. We know how to, because the court is human, yeah? And then we also...
The court is human. That is very interesting.
The court is that magistrate or that judge sitting there. It's not the room. Yeah? And so we have experience in that area more than someone who just does everything everywhere. And then also we are in touch with the changing trends, because the statute may say this, and then a case is decided and forms precedence. And I know, because I'm in touch with my peers who are also specializing in family law. We are in WhatsApp groups. Anything new comes up, message, you read, oh, in fact, I have a case like this. Now I can do this, because the news comes to you very fast. You're specializing in that. So this one who has specialized and this one who has more years of experience in that area will not bill you the same as one who was admitted last year and who doesn't have experience and who doesn't know anybody. Yeah. So clients can choose their lawyer based on so many things: experience, expertise, specialization, even affordability, even your own nature and your demeanor. You can come to my office and you're treated very well and you're like, okay, she's more expensive, but I like the contact.
Yeah.
I like her aura. I like the fact that she's a divorce coach. I think I'll pay whatever she's asking for.
Yeah.
Or I really need to get out of this marriage, but I'm constrained. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I just want a divorce. So I'll even just do it without a lawyer. You can actually represent yourself.
Really? How?
Well, number one, you need to consult a lawyer so that you can know this. So consultation is different from actually instructing for the brief.
Okay,
So you can come and just pay consultation. Consultation fee, most lawyers just bill per hour. So for that little information that they're giving you, because we cannot coach you what we did in campus for 4 years, and then we went to Kenya School of Law, and then we went and did people,
For sure.
all that. We can't put it in 1 hour.
For sure.
So that lawyer you're consulting with, you'll just tell them, this is what I want to achieve, but I can't because of, these are the challenges I have, financial. How can you help me? They'll help you identify the grounds, if you have grounds to start with. They will help you know the process. Like, this is the first thing you do. This is how you serve. These are the documents you need to file. Then you wait for this period of time and do this and this. And if you're fast enough to catch, you'll go and do. If you need some more consultation, go back again.
I think that's information that will interest a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because people always think that if I'm going to divorce or leave somebody, I better get lawyered up. Well, you can get lawyered up at that point, but you don't need to go all the way if you're not able to. Obviously, having somebody like you by them throughout the process is going to be easier.
Yeah, definitely. Because as I said, it's very emotional. And you cannot, sometimes you lose objectivity and you spoil the case completely. But when you give your case to someone you have confidence in, you can relax. Well, you won't relax, but you can reduce the stress, yeah? And just wait to be called and told this is what's happening. Sometimes my partner actually at work, he now started doing the coaching sessions where he will teach you all this as a consultation or as a class. And when you come from there, you'll pay a fraction of what you'll pay Christine if she was to do it for you, but you'll have the knowledge, you'll have the information, the papers to file and everything.
Thank you so much. We have covered a lot, but I feel like we haven't covered what I really wanted to go into. That is the family law and matrimonial property, you said. So I think we might have 2 other dates, to talk about this thing. But it was amazing, and I want to thank you very much for having this dialogue with me, because I think it's some sort of a dark side, some sort of. People don't understand it much. People are afraid of it. People don't want to say it. As you said, there is a lot of shame surrounding it, and feeling that you're bitter. You think that there is no life after divorce. So thank you very much for coming to Dialogues with Jagero.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, people of the internet, for tuning to this episode, which is basically I like this word, conscious uncoupling.
Yes.
And I hope that this, I'm going back to your book. I hope that this conversation, has lightened your heart and relieved you and has relieved you of needless suffering, this deeply traumatic process of uncoupling. So one of the things I will ask you, people of the internet, is that you subscribe to this channel. It's a young channel, but as you can see, I'm having very bold conversations. And you subscribing to this channel and hitting on that notification bell is going to go a long way into making sure that this channel goes far and wide, and people like you who are interested in this kind of topics can always come back and watch what is here. So thank you very much again, and until another episode, thank you for now.